Cat Dabs here. If you're new to my channel, hello, and if you're not new, hello again. If you don't already have your smoke gear out and what you plan on getting stony with, go ahead and pause this, get your dab, get your weed, get your bongs, get your rigs, get your pipes, get stoned, because that's probably the only way you're gonna enjoy my video. So for today's video, I wanted to just talk about mental health and the stereotypes that come along with it. An example, you think that ADHD people are constantly moving, very annoying, you can't get a word in ever, and that's not always the case. I have ADHD. Yes, it is hard to get a word in most of the time, not all the time. I do talk a million miles an hour. If you guys want to know more in depth about ADHD, and if you want me to do a whole video on my experience with getting diagnosed, when I got diagnosed, and what I did after that for my mental health journey, if I took medicine, how it affected me. If you guys would like to know all that, go ahead and leave a comment below and I will then make a video about it. Another example would be bipolar. There's actually two different types of bipolar, so not everybody who has bipolar is all the same. Not every bipolar person experiences that manic episode, which is what everybody kind of thinks bipolar people are all the time. When you're manic, you make really rash decisions and kind of feel invincible. You think that you are the shit. Even when you're wrong, you're not wrong. When I had a manic episode, I actually lost time. I felt like I was on the back, like me right now who is talking right now to you guys wasn't here. I was actually just watching myself make all these decisions, and I wasn't aware that I was making those decisions until I started to kind of come out of that manic episode, and I was like, holy shit, my whole life is like flipped over and turned around, and it's all because of my choices, and I don't even remember like some of the shit I did. Like it was, if you want a whole video on all of that, again, comment below, say fucking tell me, Kat, about your bipolar experience, tell me when you had a manic episode. I want to know. I can make a full-blown video about it, but this video is just about stereotypes. So there's two kinds of bipolar, bipolar 1, bipolar 2. Bipolar 1, you experience that manic episode, and you also experience major depressive episodes. I have rapid cycling, so I think that's what it's called. So basically what that is you, on top of having the manic episode, which I have had, and also major depressive episodes, you can also have rapid cycling, which is where you kind of go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, which is what everybody thinks bipolar is. That is not true. Not every bipolar person experiences rapid cycling. Rapid cycling is basically where you're sad one moment and then you're laughing, even though you're really sad and you don't know why you're laughing. That's kind of a rapid cycle. So you're experiencing extreme sadness, and then all of a sudden you're really fucking happy and everything's funny to you, and it's just, it doesn't make any sense.
Sorry, I'm playing with stuff on my desk. I have ADHD. Anyways.
Rapid cycling, you could have that if you have bipolar 1 or bipolar 2. I'm pretty sure. Don't hold me to that. I'm just going based on what I remember, and I
haven't done research in a while.
It's just basically what my therapist, psychiatrist, counselor have all talked to me about. There's also, so I told you about bipolar 1, there's bipolar 2. Bipolar 2 is you do not experience that manic episode. You do not experience that intense high, if you will, feeling of invincibility, you know? So bipolar 2, you more experience a lot of depression. I think more people have this one, where you do not experience a manic episode. You are more depressed and you're irritable a lot. You're very snappy when you're in that depressive episode, and you don't really come out of that depressive episode completely. You can just basically be worse or be at your your equal, like I'm kind of depressed but I can hide it well and I can pretend everything's okay type level, you know. And then you can get worse from there, and that's what bipolar 2 is. I'm bipolar 1. If you want to know more about that, let me know. My experiences and my medicines that I used to take, I don't take them anymore. Well, I've just stuck to cannabis since I was 15, and it's done okay for me. When I was on the other medicines, it did trigger some stuff. Comment below, and I will make that video. stereotypes, anxiety people. I have an anxiety disorder. I also have a panic attack disorder. People think people with panic attack disorder, you have to be really careful around them, and all loud sounds will trigger it. And people kind of walk on eggshells around people who have these mental health disorders, and I don't think that's necessary. I think that that's very stereotyped. There's so many different forms of anxiety and so many different triggers for everybody. Every single person is different. So like some people can't go into a store, specifically with this pandemic going on. You feel your heart racing, you see little sparklies, you think you're gonna pass out, but you're really okay, it's all in your head. But you're having these physical symptoms from your anxiety just from going into a store. Other people do have anxiety when it comes to loud sounds. People screaming and yelling, oh my gosh, now I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I'm checking my heartbeat because someone over there is yelling and it's giving me anxiety. People have anxiety from weather, the wind, seeing trees blow around. That gives people anxiety. I think that anxiety stems from traumatic experiences you could have possibly had in the past that you're worried about happening again, and things that happened on that terrible day or in that terrible time of your life, like wind or people yelling. When that stuff happens, I think that that's what triggers your anxiety. So if you know what triggers your anxiety, if you could stay away from it. Obviously you can't stay away from the store. We're all adults here. We all need to eat, get stuff to clean our house. We all got to go to the store. I have anxiety when it comes to going to the store. I do not know why. I have severe anxiety when it comes to being anywhere by myself. I think I'm gonna get lost. I think I'm gonna get woman napped. I'm not a kid, so I'm not kidnapped, but I think I'm gonna get woman napped. And I don't like it. But every time you do it repetitively, like I don't like going to the store, but if I do it often, if I do it once or twice a week, then it eventually gets a little bit easier, and I only have those really intense anxiety attacks occasionally instead of every single time I go to the store. I had a road trip all the way from California to here, Massachusetts. Sorry, you don't know where here is. So California to Massachusetts. During this road trip, I had so much anxiety, not just in the car, because I have anxiety when it comes to being in the car for a long time. So yay me, road trip all the way across the country, had a lot of anxiety, smoked a lot of this. Not only did I have anxiety when it came to just being in the car for that long, I also had anxiety when it came to having to get out to go to the bathroom. I think the pandemic had a lot to do with this. I was freaked out about it, but I just, I was freaked out. I didn't want to get out to go pee, and I would hold it for like 3 or 4 hours, and you're not supposed to do that. And I did. Yeah, so there's lots of different forms of anxiety. I just went off on a whole tangent. If you would like to know all of my anxiety triggers and what it feels like for me when I have anxiety more in depth, then comment below that that's what you would like to know about, because I think each one of these topics I could talk about for a cool 20-30 minutes. Like I could talk about anxiety and my experiences and what I know of others' anxieties for about an hour. I could talk about bipolar, the 2 types, my experience, watching my parents who both have bipolar go through it. I could talk about that. I could talk about ADHD, my experiences in school, my experiences trying to work at a fast food restaurant with ADHD. It was fucking hard until I got on Concerta. That Concerta, I could work so good on Concerta, but I had an allergic reaction. So I thought, if you want to know about all that, comment below. I could talk about all these things forever, but I don't want to make this video longer than like 15 minutes, and we're at like 10 minutes. So the stereotypes with anxiety, people just think that, they generalize it. If people have anxiety, they don't want to go out at all. If people have anxiety, they don't like loud noises at all. If people have anxiety, they don't like to be stressed out at all. And that's not true. Everybody's anxiety is different. Every person's triggers for their anxiety is different. Yes, some of us are the same. Like maybe some of you are watching this and you're like, Kat, but all the shit you said gives you anxiety, gives me anxiety too. Like, well, yeah, of course. Just like with anything, there's people who are like you, there's people who have the same issues as you, but they're not exactly the same. Like there is people out there who are like, what the fuck, you can't go in stores? I just have anxiety when people yell, or I just have anxiety when there's fireworks going off, Like, there's just different types. So I think that that's too generalized, and people need to open their eyes more and their minds more to it and talk about it more. Like, if someone's like, oh, I have anxiety, like when they're at a party, or they're telling their friend like, oh, I got diagnosed with generalized anxiety, like, talk about it more. Talk to your counselor about it more. Find out more about what your anxiety is based upon. Like, what really gives you anxiety? What really triggers that, you know, I'm gonna pass out or throw up feeling? Because it's not the same for everybody. And I think if everybody starts talking openly about what it is that really triggers that, then there could be less stereotypes on it. Panic attacks, same thing. People think that, you know, loud sounds, stressful things are gonna trigger panic attacks. And for me personally, that's not true. For me personally, my panic attacks happen because I bottle a lot of emotions up. I feel like I feel everything so intensely, and when I'm mad, I'm furious, and when I'm sad, I'm devastated, and when I'm happy, I'm ecstatic. So there is no like middle ground for me where I'm just chilling or I'm normal. Like, that only happens when I get super stoned, and I don't try to do that all the time anymore because my lungs hurt. Panic attacks for me only happen because I get a lot of built up emotion built in, and I don't talk about it to anybody, not even my counselors or therapists. I just keep it to myself. It's not worth bringing up. It's gonna make me cry. It's gonna make me mad. It's not worth feeling those feelings. I'm just gonna bottle it up. And after a while, there's a few things that will be added to that, right? And eventually I'm just all filled up with that, and I have no room anymore for happiness because I have all that stuff bottled up, and then I have a panic attack. And my panic attacks consist of me feeling like I can't breathe, hyperventilating, crying. Sometimes I faint, sometimes I throw up. I feel like my body's tingly. I feel like I'm about to have a seizure. Like, it's terrible. Like, my legs uncontrollably shake like crazy, like they're kicking each other, shaking, and I just have weird shit going on in my body when I have panic attacks, and I think I'm gonna die. I've been asked to go to the hospital a few times when I'm having a panic attack because I genuinely on the inside think that I am dying, and I'm not. And I hate hospitals. I will not get a needle poked in me for anything. I haven't gotten a flu shot since I was 18. I am so scared of needles. I know I have tattoos and piercings, but that's different. That's not like injections or blood getting drawn out. Like, I can't do that. There's something, no. So for me to say I need to go to the hospital, take me to the hospital, is big, because I won't even go to the doctor for a checkup. Like, when I did go to the doctor and they tried to give me shots, I left.
Like, I didn't stay for that. I said, you know, I got somewhere to go. I'm leaving. I don't need shots. And my doctor tried to talk me into getting my shots because apparently I really need some. Like, they're overdue. And I didn't do it because that's the adult I am.
I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. But, you know, that's my panic attacks. And people think that all panic attacks are people just freaking out and crying and being dramatic, and that's not the case. Most people with a panic attack disorder truly think that they are dying when they're having that panic attack. They really think that their life is ending in that moment. There's no other way to explain it. And if you can't understand that, and if I've cut a lot of people out of my life who were unable to understand my mental health disorder. I cannot let toxic people be in my life. I cannot let people who tell me one thing and turn around and do another, or tell me they feel one way and then turn around and tell other people they feel another way about things, because I can't handle that. It's triggering for me. I end up being very irritable, very mean, and not to that person. I'll be mean to the people who I'm closest with. Like, I'd be angry and upset towards my fiance when he didn't do anything wrong, and I was just upset because my friend hurt my feelings, you know, because they were being you know, whatever the case is. I've had to cut a lot of people out, and because of that, I've gotten to work on my mental health extensively, and I've gotten to be able to make videos. I do want to do a whole video on bipolar, so that's probably going to be my next video. I'm probably going to film that next, and yeah, take a dab, take a toke. If you drink, I guess take a shot. I'm not an alcohol drinker. I throw up. Until next time, stay stony, my friends.